Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday. Okay, so here it is. 5:30 or whatever it is. I got up here a little bit ago and kind of going through what's going on. Before we get started this morning, please say a prayer for a bunch of people in Baltimore. If you caught the news this morning, we had a cargo ship hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore overnight, about 1:30 in the morning, and the bridge completely collapsed with a lot of motorists on the bridge. Cars in the water, divers are trying to rescue people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right now. But this goes back to what we've said many times about protecting yourself and being ready at any time. Having something on your keys, the back of a pocket knife, or whatever, that you can bust a window out of a car. You never know when it's going to happen. I mean, this is people coming home from work or partying or whatever it would be on a Monday night here, and all of a sudden they're in the waters of the river. So say a prayer this morning. Hopefully the death toll is not high, but they're already calling this a mass casualty event, and we don't know what it is yet. So keep those people in your prayers this morning. What I want to talk about this morning is the latest disaster, if you will, for the U.S. food supply. Folks in Kansas, Texas, New Mexico, you may really want to pay attention to this one. Okay. Now, aside from the 100 or so food processing / manufacturing plants and chicken farms that have been destroyed over the past couple of years, and the millions of chickens and egg laying hens being destroyed by avian flu, we got another problem, and this time is on milk. Okay. And again, I'll link this below so you guys can take a look at it. But yesterday, we had from the USDA avian flu, H5N1, bird flu, okay, has been detected in dairy milk in cows in Texas, New Mexico, and Kansas. Now, about a week ago, or maybe a few weeks ago actually, Texas noticed that they were having some of their dairy cows getting sick. Now, again, mind you, cows aren't birds, okay? Cows don't fly. Pigs don't fly, unless, of course, you're Joe Biden. Okay. But now you have an issue where bird flu is now affecting about 10% of the dairy cattle in Texas, or in Texas, New Mexico, and Kansas. This is quite a bit. Now, usually, if cows contract bird flu, however the hell that happens, don't ask me. I'm not a zoologist. But they can usually recover in about a week. All right. And now we're not seeing that. Now the bird flu is being passed on to milk. Does that mean it can be passed on to humans? Of course. Okay. Now, from what the USDA is saying, there's no risk to the commercial milk supply to the United States because obviously any of the milk that is contaminated is being destroyed. It's not being released to the public. However, how well do you trust the USDA? Okay. How many stories have we had in the last year of spinach recall, lettuce recall, yada yada, salmonella, or pick something that's got out, recalls on God knows every type of food you can imagine. The last thing you want to do is find out that all of a sudden you've contracted bird flu because you drank some tainted milk. Now, that's, I wouldn't say the biggest issue, but now this is where we get into the other problem. How many people, and I know I do as well, get their milk from somebody who has the cow directly? So getting raw milk, and maybe you make your cream from it, your butter from it, separate it out, do whatever, your raw milk. Be careful with this, because you need to know that whoever that dairy farmer or the person that just has a cow, okay, maybe you just have the cow out in your yard and you get your own milk. Check on this, okay? Make sure your cow isn't infected, because if they're saying 10% of the dairy cattle in, like I said, Kansas, New Mexico, and Texas, we're not exactly talking just a few cows here, you don't know how well it's spread. So make sure to check, get your cow checked or something, or ask the person if where you get your milk if the cattle have been tested. Okay, just as an idea. So going on to food, okay, this is the next one that gets interesting, and now we're going to head up to everybody's favorite city, New York, okay, and the migrant crisis, the illegal crisis. Well, New York has now announced that they are going to be giving illegals weekly debit cards for $350 a piece, or not a piece, for a family of four, okay, weekly, right? So, I mean, do the math. That's $1,400 a month. So the people can buy food and baby supplies, family of four. How many of you spend $1,400 a month on groceries? How many of you can afford to spend $1,400 a month on groceries? I'll be willing to bet there's a lot of people that watch this channel that don't have $1,400 a month in income, especially those that live on Social Security. Okay. But no, we're going to start giving this money to illegals so they can go buy groceries. Right? And I want you to think about that. $350 a month is a lot more, or I'm sorry, a week. $350 a week in free money for illegals is a lot more than what unemployment pays in a lot of states for people to pay all their bills, not just food. Now, mind you, where these cards are going to be passed out. The Roosevelt Hotel, where, of course, the illegals are given a free place to stay for a month before they can find something else. Before the state puts them up somewhere else. Kind of like Massachusetts, which has now decided to use historical landmarks as places to house illegals, right? Okay. Think about this. The homeless, they don't get $350 a week. A single mother with a baby doesn't get $350 a week. Hey, millennials, I'm betting they're not giving you $350 a week for groceries. Okay. The AOC's district, I'm betting they're not giving you $350 a week. But God knows, if you can come into the United States illegally, we'll give you free housing, free money, free everything else. When is this going to stop? We've got a tainted food supply all over the United States. We've got Oregon, like I talked about the other day, prohibiting people from growing their own food, restricting the use of water, claiming that if you've got a gravel walkway up to your shed, that you're now a commercial operation, and therefore you're not allowed to use water for irrigation. But yet, we're going to give illegals $350 from food. Where in the world do these people think the food comes from? The government has this great idea that you can buy anything. No, you can't. Some stuff has to be produced. You can't keep burning down chicken plants. You can't keep telling farmers not to grow. Right, Colorado? You were told about that. Was it last year? Let your fields go fallow. Okay. We have droughts going on. We have floods going on everywhere. California, the Great Plains, etc., etc. We are seeing stories of the food is going to be less. The food is going to be less because of droughts, of floods, of locusts, whatever it would be. The cattle, the whole story on the fires down in the panhandle of Texas, destroying beef herds, right? Okay. But somehow, what's going on? We're going to give illegals money, more money than you and I have, to be able to afford groceries. And as the price of everything goes up, because it's scarce, okay? Not that you can't go to the grocery store right now and not find food. I mean, y'all know as well as I do, there's still plenty of food in the grocery stores. It's just expensive. Well, let's not say plenty of food. I went to the grocery store yesterday and there was one piece of salmon in there, okay? And something I need to eat on my diet, okay? One. That was it. One slab of salmon. Now, I could go pick through it, okay? So, the price of everything goes up, which prices you and me out of the grocery market, but allows the illegals to now eat better than the American public, the middle class, and eat it all compared to the lower class, the poor, let's just use the term, okay, whether they are on a small fixed income, whether they have homeless, whatever it would be, okay, you know, the only term to use it for is the poor, okay. $1,400 worth of food is 3 times our household budget on food here, okay? Thank God I grow enough, and I can. Thank God I don't live in Oregon where I'm allowed to grow it, okay? This is it. We really, really, really need to watch what's going on. I can't say whether this H5N1 is any sort of manipulated, man-made issue, okay, that's getting into cattle all of a sudden, which I still find bizarre. But isn't it amazing that everything going on is to stop the poultry industry, eggs, beef, pork, vegetables? What's left for us to eat? Oh yeah, bugs. Pinball out.